morning, Sheryl. You are an executive coach and founder of Kurtis Consulting LLC. So what led you to a career in leadership?
So I graduated from college with a BA in economics and an MBA, and that helped me get in the door as a programmer for a trading company that eventually became UBS, which was is one of the largest global financial service companies. And recognizing my leadership skills, maybe not so much my great development skills, I was quickly promoted from developer to management, and I started leading increasingly larger and broader operational teams. And during that time, not only did I have to learn how to become a leader, but I also had to learn how to operate successfully in a high-octane, male-dominated industry. Mid-career, I shifted my focus to leading global project teams that implemented large-scale changes to technology. And my career accomplishments were rewarded with promotion to managing director, which is an acknowledgement about the success we have as leaders as well as in our subject matter areas. But at the same time, I had to find my work-life balance because I became a mom. And I had developed a number of really strong sponsorship relationships that helped me negotiate an arrangement that allowed me to get the work-life balance that I needed at that point in my life. Eventually, I left UBS. I went to another company called Barclays, another global financial service company. I took a really exciting opportunity that aligned better with my professional goals, although it came without that managing director title. And that was a tough decision to make, but it was a better professional opportunity, and it was a better opportunity for what I needed personally too. And then as risk and control became a top priority for financial services, I repurposed my skills, which allowed me to move into the front office roles, which offers better opportunities and better compensation. And throughout all of these roles, I was in leadership roles where I was building and leading large groups of people.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I made one more career change in the corporate world before I decided it was time to leave and start my own business.
Which is awesome. But hey, here's a question for you. Is that something, did you feel like as a child, even like in college, leadership, is that something that was always like the thing that you wanted to do? Or it's just like accidentally, hey, that's just happened to me?
No, I was one of those kids who just took on leadership. When I was probably 10 or 11 years old, my mom got really sick and was in the hospital. I'm one of four, and somebody had to step up and like do some stuff in the house. And my parents had been trying to find friends and family to help, which they did. But I ended up stepping up and organizing my siblings and making meals and making shopping lists and going shopping with my dad. And so pretty early on, I was taking on that leadership role. And my sisters will tell you that I was kind of a bossy leader even in those days.
So it started since you were very much young. So it's like it's early in you. So you only have that leadership. Don't get me wrong. I think that my son or even my little sister and brothers will say the same thing about me. You are being bossy.
Yeah.
So
I've tried to move away from being that bossy 12-year-old, although I think I do fall back there sometimes, into a much more thoughtful leader with a better understanding of myself.
yes, and I think that also for you to go through all of these positions as a leader, you must have been great at it, and also your team must have been loving you, because the company is not gonna just take you from one step, put you to the other one if you are not capable of doing it. I guess what I'm trying to say is you've been through all of these great experiences working with all these big companies because you are a great leader. That's the reason why they put you there, because they know that you will reach the goal that you need to reach by helping the company. So hey,
Yeah.
you deserve it. You work hard for it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I was very blessed. I became very good at identifying leadership in other people and the skills that people needed to be on my team. I was just talking to somebody about it today, And, I would look to identify people that had those core leadership skills in them. You can teach people technical skills. It's much more difficult to teach people how to be good listeners, be empathetic, and be able to take charge.
Exactly. I completely agree with you on that. But how did you decide to start your own business?
Well, there's a bit of a story there, if I can tell you that.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so it began one night, when I was working in my corporate job and those Sunday scaries descended upon me. And I was having a conversation with my husband. And he said, "You're going to miss it all." And those words were super clarifying, and they began the journey of me starting my own business. As I mentioned, I was in a corporate role. It was really aligned with my ambition and financial values. However, the job had become really demanding. It was demanding an inordinate amount of time. And that work-life balance that I had once maintained was really becoming increasingly elusive. And time with my family, simple day-to-day enjoyments, and intense stress and anxiety, they were the price I was paying. And I tried to change things in my work environment and implement strategies for how I manage my day to day and how I did my work. But those strategies weren't helping me. And so I started asking myself, what the heck is going on here? I've been an executive in senior leadership roles at global financial companies for over 30 years. I've worked long, hard days, and I've always gone the extra mile. But in the past, I hadn't had that level of stress and anxiety or that much trouble finding the time with my family and friends. And so one night I had a conversation with my husband, Mike, and the magic of the conversation was that we talked about our values, the importance of time together, time with our kids, time to enjoy life every day. And we talked also about our values about ambition and money and how they fit into our needs at this point in our lives. And during that conversation, my husband said to me, "If you keep working like this, you are going to miss it all. You're going to miss out on time with your kids before they go away to college, time with me that we're never going to get back, and time to just enjoy life. Is this really what you want?" And that statement, "you're going to miss it all," like really hit me like a ton of bricks. And it was at that moment that I realized it wasn't efficiency strategies that were going to solve my problems. It was getting back to my values and clarifying my needs at this point in my life. And so that whole conversation kicked off a rethink of my values. I took time to do this exercise that I use in my practice called a wheel of life, where you look really hard at what's most important to you. I took some long walks with my puppy dog, Poppy, who's sitting right next to me. And I worked with a coach over 5 or 6 weeks. And I had conversations with close friends and advisors to really think this through. And what I realized through that work was that the priorities around my values had shifted. And I really needed to live my life more on my terms. And I wanted choice over how I spent my time so that I can live my core values, that time with my kids, with my husband, my extended family. And really time to enjoy life every day, not just on the weekends and not just when I'm on vacation. And so with that clarity, I was really able to figure out what I needed to change and how I live my life. And then I took some decisions that were kind of hard to make. They were not consistent with the way I had made decisions in the past. And that's how I found my way to coaching.
This is awesome. Your husband gives you a wake-up call. Girl, it's time to wake up here before you lose it all.
Exactly.
Isn't that? I love it when they do that. So, but now let's talk. You founded Kurtis Consulting LLC, which is offer coaching to leaders. Can you tell us more about the company and the services it offers?
Yep. So I focus on helping high potential leaders and emerging leaders accelerate their leadership development capabilities. My motto is technical skills got you here, but they're not going to get you there. And when I say technical, I don't mean technology skills. It's any technical skill you need to get your job done. So there are 3 components to my coaching practice. The first is self-awareness. So our success isn't based on how we see ourselves. It's based on how others see us. And I have a tool that helps people understand how others perceive them and how their behaviors enhance or hinder their success. And this is really critical to growing as a leader, because if you don't understand your own behaviors and the positive and negative impacts that they have on other people, then how are you going to know what's effective and what you need to change? Right? So that self-awareness and growing that self-awareness, starting with this tool, is fundamental to becoming a good leader. The second component comes out of that, which is developing a plan. What kind of leader do you want to be? What kind of leader is needed in the situation that you're in? And setting up a plan to achieve those goals. And then I use coaching to help develop those goals. And what I like to do is use real life situations that people are in, in their work day or in their personal life, to help develop those, help them achieve those goals. So that real life situation makes it obviously more real for them, helps them solve a problem that they've got at the moment, but really is a much more effective tool than just a scenario for helping them figure out how to become that leader that they want to be. And then the last component is really around self-care and managing the self. If we don't take care of ourselves, whether that means going to the gym, spending time with loved ones, pursuing a hobby, then our patience and emotional fortitude is not at its maximum. And that makes it really hard to bring your best behaviors and reactions to what, for a lot of people, are very stressful situations at work. And I know this from personal experience. And I know that people often see taking care of themselves as optional or last thing on the list, but that is a real career limiting attitude to have.
Yes, and I love the components you put together, because they all kind of really match with one another, especially self-awareness. A lot of that is a very important puzzles, and I will use as a woman, because I am a woman. I can talk for myself, not as a woman way. That's those self-awareness, self-care. We put that aside. We seem to do that a lot, especially the self-care part, because we care a lot about other people and we forget ourselves exist. So maybe it's because of the motherhood, because we always care about our kids first before ourselves. If we have one piece of bread, we're going to feed it to the child and we're not going to eat anything. That's just how we are as women, right? So we try to take it even to the workplace and anywhere else we go. So I think that having a coach like yourself to do like the self-care part, and I love the fact that you are using real life example. This is it. You're living this right now, but we can fix this problem right now, this moment for you. We can fix it. And I think it's very important. It's very, I love your method. It's different, but it's also something that we really need as women, especially as women.
Yeah, when you don't take care of yourself, your confidence, your resilience, your patience, and even your cognitive abilities are impacted, and you are not at your best. And one of the things I encourage people to do is, if you're feeling negative about yourself, if you're feeling like you're not at the top of the game, take a minute and ask yourself, what have you done for yourself lately that's recharging your batteries? You take your phone every night and you plug it in to power and you recharge that phone. What are you doing to recharge yourself? And taking care of yourself doesn't have to take a ton of time. How it works for everybody is different. But what I want to work with my clients on is identifying the ways that are going to have the most important impact to them, right? Sometimes it's as simple as getting up during the day and going for a walk, getting up and away from their desk and eating lunch with somebody. You can do that in 15 or 20 minutes. There's all kinds of apps out there now where you can do 10 minutes of really effective meditation. You can go to the gym, right? You don't have to go to the gym for an hour or two. You can go for 20 or 30 minutes. You can write in a journal, right? These are all simple ways of doing something for yourself. And so what I work with my clients on is helping them to establish the self-care rituals that are going to be most effective for them and making them sticky habits. It's very easy. I mean, I struggle with this too. It's very easy to say, I'm going to get up and leave my desk every day, but then some email comes in like, oh, I've got to handle this. Yeah, except that mail will be there when you come back. So how do you really establish that habit? And I've got this this tool that we use that's called Tiny Habits and habit stacking that are really effective, especially in cases like this. So that self-care is super important. And everybody is busy. I'm busy, but you got to find time to do some of that.
Yes, absolutely. So when it comes to coaching, do you coaching, let's say, executives? Also, you coaching someone, a leader that's on their own business, or is it just you focus in just one? Look, so what is your top? Pretty much what I'm asking. Who do you coach? Can it be a business owner? For example, I own a small business with 20 employees. Can you coach me? Or is it just a leader that's work for a company that have 60, 70 people under their belt?
Yeah. So yes, I can coach people that have 60 or 70 people under their belt. But what I really like to do is work with people that are growing their own business or growing their own leadership capabilities at a more junior level. Because I look at what I had to go through to become a leader, and I was fortunate. I had some coaching along the way, and that really accelerated my growth. But if I can work with somebody consistently over time and help them become that C-suite leader in a way that the path to get there is easier for them, both personally and professionally, that's the part of the market that I want to work with.
Can they be anywhere within the United States, or do you work with people outside of the country?
I don't have any clients outside the country, but I could, because a lot of my almost all my coaching is on Zoom or other web-enabled apps. And so, yeah, it doesn't really matter where somebody's sitting anymore. And so, yeah, I have people on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast. So, the time zones are all manageable too.
Exactly. Awesome. And also, what I wanted to ask you, you have, I know that you have more than 30 years of experience working in technology and front office leadership roles. So how do you use that experience to help clients?
So in coaching, you don't need to have experience that your clients have, because the goal is to coach the person, not the situation. However, many people find it easier to build trust when they're working with somebody who have shared or similar experiences. And many people want to work with somebody who's already been there and done that, in business already. So I have people that come to me because of the experience I have. I also have clients who want to tap into my experience and want me to be a thought partner on specific business situations. I try and use my business experience like a Waze app. While people are going to reach their own conclusion, my experience can help them shortcut some of that process and avoid those heavy traffic areas where they sit and do nothing. And so I'll share stories with them. I'll share tools and techniques that I used. And then we go back into kind of a coaching method and say, what insights did you get from this? What value did you get from that? How can you use that or build on it or reject it and say, oh, that's not something I want to do. And a lot of that will often just help people spur their thinking.
Oh, I love that, Sheryl. I love that. You go back, you kind of bring them like, hey, we just went through all this. What did you learn from it? So what are exactly you going to use in your daily life to continue what you wanted to do? I love that. I love that. I love it. So let's say with the coaching, is it one-on-one? Is it group? Do you have courses online they need to take? How does it work exactly?
The core of my business is one-on-one. coaching. I'm in the process of building some group coaching topics, and I'm looking to start offering some of that early next year.
Awesome. So right now, any client that you meet with is a one-on-one, so they pretty much get your full attention to themselves.
They absolutely get my full attention to themselves.
So how does someone get started? If they want it, for example, let's say someone is listening to this conversation I have with you, and they're like, "Oh, I would love to learn more about Sheryl to see if Sheryl can coach me." How does that process start?
Well, I have a website, Kurtis Consulting LLC.com. That's Kurtis with a K. And they can go and learn a little bit more about me and about my services. And through that website, they can also reach out to me through mail. People can also email me directly, Sheryl, SHERYL, at KurtisConsultingLLC.com. Once people have reached out to me, I offer a free 30-minute, I call it a chemistry call, where we meet and see how do we feel about each other. Do we think this is a situation that I can help with? And am I somebody that they feel comfortable working with? And then I explain a little bit more about coaching to them. Some people think that coaching is me telling them what to do. It's not.
Yes.
It's me taking them through a thought-provoking conversation where I'm actively listening and asking a lot of questions, and they're doing a lot of talking. And go into that in more depth, and then we talk about contract details and decide if we're going to move forward or not.
I love that piece that you just added to it, because I think that's a very big problem a lot of coaches also are facing, is the fact that when the clients sign up, they think that, hey, go do ABC. It's, they're expecting you to just tell them, go do this, go do that. But in reality, it's your business. No one can tell you how to run your business, really.
I mean, we're all unique people. We all have our own way of solving problems. We all have our own way of thinking. I talked earlier about values. Values are really important to me. Everybody's got their own values. And so how I might tackle a business problem is going to be different from how you tackle a business problem. And my job isn't to tell you the way I did it. As I mentioned, I might give you an example. You might ask me for some ideas, but ultimately you have to decide what's best for you and make it your own. And that's what happens during coaching.
I love what you said. Make it your own. Yes. So, along with technical skills, how important do you think soft and people skills are to become better leaders in today's world?
Soft skills and people skills are critical to people becoming better leaders. There was a study done by the Manpower Group that found that 61% of American companies rated soft skills as the most desirable skill in prospective hires. And what these companies are looking for are people who are self-aware, that have good listening skills, that have empathy for others, that can effectively communicate, right? Because if you can't communicate, you can't tell people your ideas, you can't influence them. They're looking for people who can build trust, and they're also looking for people that can regulate emotions. Now, why are these things important? Why do companies think these are important? Well, if you have these skills, you're able to minimize conflict. You're able to maximize bringing groups of people together, which every problem we have almost always requires more than one person, or, more than one dimension to solve it. So bringing people together, helping them collaborate, having people that want to spend time with you and believe in your mission. Because with that, you're much more likely to effectively deliver on the work that you have been charged with doing. And that advances the goal of the company. I also like to remind people that developing these skills is not a one and done kind of thing, right? As you progress through your career, the different roles you take, the different levels that you operate at, they're all going to require different levels of soft skills, right? So your communication skills when you're 4 years out of college are going to be different than the level of communication skills you're going to need to have as you're, getting into those executive levels and approaching the C-suite. So this is something, these softer skills are things that people who want to grow their careers need to continually working on. And coaching is an especially effective way to grow these skills because, as you had mentioned earlier, it's customized to your unique sets of behaviors and the situations you need to be deploying those skills into.
So it goes back again to self-awareness. Like you said, that's the first piece of the puzzle you go through with them when they first start coaching with you. It goes back to that again. So which shows that self-awareness is one of the pieces that's very, very, very important.
I think it's critical. It's critical, and it's the first part of my program when I work with my clients.
Yes. So women juggle multiple roles, both professional and personal. How do you help them navigate this fast pace? The world right now is competitive, and to achieve a balance.
Yeah. So there are so many things that women need to juggle and want to juggle, right? Now, my belief is, and my experience is that you can have it all, but for most people, you can't have it all at once, right? So I had mentioned earlier that it had been important for me to achieve that managing director title, which I did, but then I had the opportunity to change jobs and companies. And in doing that, I got a lot of things I wanted. I got a more exciting role. I was happy with the compensation I was getting, and I was much closer to home. And at that time, I had young children. And so what was really important to me was being closer to them and having the possibility of being able to pick them up and do things at their school. But that offer didn't come with a managing director title. So what I helped my clients do, what I did at that time, was to hone in on what did I really need to do and what did I want to do and what did I have the capacity to do at that point in my life. And that's what I work on with my clients. What do you need to do? What do you want to do? And what do you have the capacity to do at this point in your life? And there's a few tools I use to help me with this process, but ultimately it's through thoughtful and sometimes challenging conversations that my clients are able to find that sweet spot where those three things come into balance. And there are sometimes things that they have to put to the side till later. And we have conversations about them and how they get comfortable with that and to think about how they get back to those things. In my story, I worked subsequently to position myself so that I had another shot at managing director. And I continued to work hard and some luck came into play. And that provided me the opportunity, which I was able to seize, and I did become managing director again at Barclays.
Yes. And I think that also, I guess I don't have anything to add to that. You said properly. Well said. I will not add anything to it. So self-care is an essential component. Why? Because you've been talking about self-care throughout the conversation for personal and professional. So can you throw some more light on this aspect?
Yeah. So I experienced firsthand how not taking care of myself impacted me. And I experienced real burnout. And I saw how it made me feel, not made me feel, well, I saw how it made me feel, but I also was able to see how much less effective I was at work, especially when I looked back at it. At the time, I didn't think I was being that much less effective. But subsequently, when I look back, I realized how much it had. It also impacted my personal life because I wasn't showing up, fully energized or available to my family. A number of my clients come to me and are burned out, and sometimes they don't even realize it. So now I would like to see people have a smoother journey around this. So when I meet with my clients, I want to talk to them and understand how they're taking care of themselves and how they're feeling about how they're showing up every day to their lives, personally and professionally.
So you have been accomplished a lot. I mean, like a lot, and you are helping others to make them better, not just professionally but personally.
Yeah.
Especially when you talk about self-care. So now, what's next? What do you have in
Well,
plan?
yes. So right now I'm really committed to, uh, finding that audience that's going to benefit from this style of coaching, and that are people who want to smooth out their journey. As I had mentioned earlier, I know that I had some really rough times in my career, and I didn't have people that I felt that I could go to get some support and some help on it, and develop the tools and really like look at myself. And and the times that I did have those things were the times that I was able to like really leapfrog my own personal and professional development. So really, I'm right now. Uh, I'm um, I'm really grounded in my business, and I'm looking to reach out to men and women, people that are looking to become better versions of themselves.
And it doesn't. And if they have their own small business and they looking to be a better leader, and how you can help them with that, you can guide them, you
Yes.
can coach them, you can be there, because I think that one of the issue we face as small business owners, we don't have that support, we don't have that shoulder, right? Sometimes we don't really need someone to tell us to go do ABC, but we
Yeah.
just need someone to listen. And while we are talking, and I know that happened with me sometimes, by just talking, I find the solution to my problem. I don't even need
Yeah.
someone to tell me the solution. I only find it myself. So I think that it's very, very important for small business owners to have a coach like you to actually guide them and to let them know when to stop. Right now, you need to take care of you.
Yeah.
It's important you take care of you.
Yeah, and I think especially, we've talked a lot about leadership development. I want to clarify for people, leaders doesn't mean, you have to have 40, 50, 60 people reporting to you, right? Leadership is you trying to get an outcome, for a mission that you think is important. And so a lot of the people that I coach are not executives yet. They want to become executives or they want to become business owners, but they're trying to find their way to that. And that is leadership.
Absolutely. And then also, if you are going to start a business, you're going to need that, because you're going to have clients. You're going to probably will have, if you don't have employees, you probably will have freelancers. You probably will have contractors. You probably will have this type of people under you. You still need to lead them,
Yeah,
regardless. It's your business.
it's your
So
business.
yes. So at the end, having that leadership skills is important. So, and for me, I feel like really, if you're starting a business, the first step is someone like you, Cheryl. First of all, self-awareness, you need that. You definitely, and what's your plan? What are you trying to accomplish? You need that. And self-care, you need to know when to take care of that. So
Yeah.
that's a very important matter. And I know when I started WomLEAD, I had a newborn baby, and I have a new company. It was a lot for me. Myself, I pushed myself to the back of the womb, and I put baby number one, my son, baby number two, WomLEAD, and I forgot I exist. I
Yeah.
did for a while until I realized that, wait, what am I doing? You know, because, and I know that a lot of other women, even men, are doing the exact same thing too. But like Cheryl said, it's the wrong thing to do. So
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
help.
And I know, look, I'm running my own small business, right? I'm a solopreneur and I have a coach. I met with him before we met here today. And it's really important. I spend an hour and a half with him twice a month, and we focus on how I'm feeling about my business, where's my mindset about my business, what are some of the practical challenges I'm having around any different aspect of my business. Finding, you talked about juggling. I feel like I'm juggling balls when it comes to, I have to be a great coach. I have to do sales. I have to do marketing. I have to do administration, and
Yep.
I have to keep learning, right? So how do you juggle all of these balls? And so as a solopreneur myself, I know the value of having a thought partner and having a coach that gives me the space to talk things out and just ask me some really powerful questions that help me shift my perspective. And that's what I do for people also.
And you know what? 99% of time, that's all you need.
Yeah.
Just someone to be there and listen and help you out so that you can understand where you are and what needs to be done right now. Like you said earlier, right now where you are, what needs to be done. So I think that was a great conversation, Sheryl. I appreciate it. So any advice for women who want to get into entrepreneurship?
I'm in the early stages myself. I think really knowing yourself, I hate to come back to that again, but being self-aware, like, what are the things that are going to make you successful, or not successful? So for example, for myself, I'm very aware. I'm a very social person, and sitting here by myself all day is difficult for me. So what am I going to put in place that will allow me to do that and to be effective at that and not kind of lose my mind? And so I've had to find strategies around that. So really, being self-aware. I think also just figuring out what needs to be in place for you to take that risk of going into your own business. And so having really thought through your financials and your business plan, I think all of that's really important. And then getting resources around you that are going to help you be successful. Friends,
Absolutely.
family, coaches.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you on that. We definitely need that. And don't try to do it alone because she's right. I tried that a few times, it didn't work.
It takes a village. I remember somebody once said that to me before I had my kids, and I'm like, I don't need a village. I can do this on my own. And then I had one son, okay, that I could handle, and then I had twins 3 years later. So now I had three kids under the age of 3, and then I was like, now I get the village,
Bitch.
and I really get it now in my entrepreneurship journey. It takes a village. It takes people coming around me to help me with ideas, help me get the introductions I need to get, help me. I've been working on sales and marketing materials lately. Who's going to help me review them? Because if you look at the stuff on your own, it looks great. And then somebody says, yeah, but what about this? And you're like,
Yes.
oh, that's so great. So
Yes,
how do you get that
absolutely.
village around you?
Yes. And also that I think start with someone like you, Cheryl. Reach out to a coach, reach out to
Yeah.
someone that can guide you and then help you out to understand what you're trying to accomplish. Also, I think another problem too, sometimes we think we want A, but really we want B. So we don't really want A. So having someone also will help you figure that out.
Yeah, that's one of the things, when I got into coaching, I thought I was going to go one way. And then as I got into it, I realized, oh, wait a minute, I need to shift. And it was through my coaching conversations that I was having with my coach that I was able to hone in on that. And just through my own experiences and kind of like working through it. But having somebody that I was able to talk to about it along the way, and make sure that I was thinking about these things the right way. Not that he told me what the right way was, but
Right.
just as you had said, talking about it out loud and having somebody that's reacting to it, it either
It's
helps you
help.
say, "Ooh, I don't like that. That doesn't sound so good," or "Yeah, that's really that's really the direction I want to go."
Exactly. So I think it's very important to have a coach, especially at the beginning. You want one.
Yeah.
Invest in that. It's worth it. Anything else you'd like to share with us, Cheryl, before I let you go?
No, I want to, congratulate you on the great work that you've done with WomL, and you're a beacon for all of us. And I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today.
Oh my goodness, it was a pleasure. I wouldn't miss this conversation for anything in this world. I have a blast. I love
really
learning
fun.
new things. Yes, especially 3 things that you said to me today that are very important. And every time I talk to another businesswoman, I get to learn something new. It's something, even if I don't learn it new, it's something I already know, but for whatever reason, I never thought of it. Or we put it in the back of the head, we like to do that. We just move this like that. So it's great. So I learned a few things from you. So I appreciate that you sharing your knowledge and then giving us some great tips that can keep us moving forward as women, because we need that.
Thank you.